This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. There's a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. However you're taking us in, we appreciate it. It's Gill Alexander alongside Wyatt Tomchek in for the vacationing Kelly Bidlin on this Monday, Week 17 Guessing Lines. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Wait, Kelly's vacationing? He said he was going to the bathroom and said hold his seat for 5 minutes.
Where did he go? Like Turks, Tahiti? Where did he go?
I think just to Florida, and I think there was no hurricanes.
Just to Florida.
I don't think there was any hurricanes coming in.
Wyatt Tomchek, for those who don't know, his street cred is that he is the voice of UNLV women's basketball and other sports.
I did, and I prepared for this one today, Gil. I brought in our championship ring from last year.
Wow. Championship of what?
The Mountain West.
Oh, okay.
Three straight in a row.
It's like a championship ring. They really give out those rings for the Mountain West Championship?
Oh, yeah, everybody gets. If you win a conference championship, boy, you are... I mean, this thing is legit. This is probably the best one I've gotten so far.
Congratulations on your ring, man.
Thank you.
Would you wear that every day? Yeah?
This is the first time I've worn it.
All right.
I wore it for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Championship of what? Oh, conference. Gotcha. Okay. For those who have not been on this show before on Mondays, what we do is we guess the lines of the upcoming weekend's NFL games. We hope to extract value in that process. And during that, we also look back at the week that was in the National Football League. We always start, though, with guessing lines before we get to the guess of the lines itself with a Circa Survivor update. There were 50 headed into this weekend. There are now 45. 4 get bounced with the Arizona Cardinals, 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night. There are 21 still to play, though. 21 are on the Green Bay Packers tonight against the New Orleans Saints. Of course, the Packers 2 touchdown favorites in that game. What could possibly go wrong? But if it is, in fact, 45 that advance, if, in fact, it is 45 that advance to the Christmas quote-unquote week, the 2 games on Thursday, the 1 game on Friday, acting as its own week at Circa Survivor, the intrinsic value of each heading into that Christmas week would be $317,022.22. Don't forget the cents. $317,022.22. We will get into those the Christmas doubleheader and, of course, the game on Thursday night as well. What do these folks do? By the way, can we show that the tweet right now before we do that? This is from Tony Farmer, who does this courtesy of Survivor Atlas. Survivor Atlas is the one keeping all the stats on Circa Survivor. Tony Farmer at Tony's Market Tips is kind enough to pass them along to me. So on the left, you might not be able to see this on the screen because it might be too small when we get to it. But on the left would be the availability of the 6 teams playing on Thursday and Friday. The Bears of the 45 remaining, again, assuming the Packers get through tonight, of the 45 remaining entries. And by the way, it's 45 human beings now. There are no more players with multiple entries. 29 have the Bears available. 23 have the Steelers available. 21 have the Seahawks available. Ravens 11. Chiefs only available to 4. Houston only available to 3. The thing about this is that if my guesses are anywhere close, these are all going to be tightly lined here. On the right, what he is showing in the yellow is if you were basing it on the point spread, and I can see my point spread is going to be tucked neatly around some of these, although some of them seem a little off, but I'll give you my actual guesses. Seattle would be the quote-unquote optimal pick based on point spreads and availability if you are playing it that way. That last phrase is probably the key. If you are playing it that way without any other kind of game theory. My suggestion in that sentence is perhaps you shouldn't play it that way, but what do I know? I was bounced long ago. 45 entries remain, and good luck to all that are in. Obviously, 21 more on the Packers tonight, which brings us to Guessing Lines Week 17 in the National Football League. No intro? There we go. You're too quick. You're a pregnant pause. Oh, yeah. All right, Wyatt, you're playing the role of Kelly Bidlin today.
All right, I'll make sure I won't do what Kelly did on the last week, which was hilarious.
He goes, what is he? He goes, 13. I was like, let me guess, 13.
So this week in the NFL, as you mentioned, it's going to be Christmas Day. So the week starts on Wednesdays. We have to bump up the Megapod too tomorrow.
Megapod is tomorrow.
So first game on Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. The Chiefs taking on the Steelers.
Chiefs at Steelers. So we've known, obviously, for those who have been in Survivor or locked into Survivor in any way, you've known these three games or have them locked into your brain anyway for the entire season. Chiefs at Steelers, the 14-1 Kansas City Chiefs against the 10-5 Steelers. Chiefs coming off the win over the Texans on Saturday. Basically, what we have on Christmas is a opponent swap from what we had this past week on Saturday. So Kansas City beats Houston. They do so on the strength of, well, it started out with a Houston pick, 3rd and 12 at their own 43. Stroud picked by Jaden Hicks. That led to a 66-yard Kansas City drive. Mahomes in from 15, 7-0 Chiefs. But the Texans did take the lead at 7-3. They ran themselves a 13-play, 82-yard drive. Stroud to Nico Collins, the big chunk for 30 to Schultz from 10 out. It was 10-7 Houston with 10:09 left in the second quarter. But that was the last lead they would have. Kansas City, 82-yard drive right after that, because God forbid they don't have the lead for a long time. Hunt in from 3, 14-10 Kansas City. Stroud would get picked by Trent McDuffie. That would lead to a Butker field goal, 17-10 Chiefs at the half. Third quarter, Houston, 4 plays, 50 yards. Pardon me, they were about to tie the game. Stroud to Dell for 3, but two things happen here. Fairbairn misses the extra point, so the Chiefs still lead at 17-16, and more significantly, Tank Dell with a significant knee injury. Already a kneecap displacement. That's the first thing that we know for sure, but the extent of that injury still not known, and it looks to what everybody's saying is that it is a bad injury, and that will be probably the season for Tank Dell. So you don't have Dell, you don't have Diggs if you're Houston moving forward into the postseason. 17-16 though, Kansas City would extend it 10 plays, 80 yards. Mahomes to Worthy from 8, 24-16. It would get to 24-19, and then to 27-19 in favor of the Chiefs, and Houston would then, with 5:18 left in the game, down one possession, 3 and out. Kansas City got the ball after that. They would never relinquish it. Ball game. Chiefs 14-1. But apparently, as long as Mahomes is playing, we can't give Andy Reid a Coach of the Year because he'll never get credit for it, even if they go 16-1. The Chiefs' magic number, if we were to do the baseball way of doing things, is 1. One Chiefs win, 1 Bills loss, and the Chiefs will have the number 1 seed throughout the course of the AFC playoffs. So once again, all the power rankings, schmankings that we've had all year long, it looks like that it will go through Arrowhead yet again. And then Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh loses to Baltimore in a game, quite frankly, that was the key play of the game was in the first half, I think. 7-7 game. Pittsburgh is matriculating. 2nd and 6 at the Baltimore 23. Russell Wilson with a great run inside the 5. He's hit by our Darius Washington. Fumbles recovered by Kyle Van Noy. And Baltimore then goes on an 8-play, 96-yard drive. Lamar to Bateman from 14 out. Halfway through the second quarter, it'd be 17-10 Baltimore at the half. Pittsburgh would tie it up. Second drive of the third quarter, 8 plays, 88 yards. Wilson to Calvin Austin for 44 to start. To Cordero Patterson from 12 out at 17-17 with 5:14 left in the third quarter. And then it was all Baltimore. Baltimore 6 plays, 60 yards, all on Lamar's feet and arms. Lamar to Andrews from 7 out, 24-17. Pittsburgh would then turn it over on downs. They'd attempt a 4th and 7 at the Baltimore 46. Incomplete, intended for Austin. Baltimore first and goal at the 10. Lamar picked by Fitzpatrick, though. And then the play of the second half, Pittsburgh 2nd and 7 at their own 36. Wilson picked by Marlon Humphrey to the house, pick 6. 31-17 Baltimore with 13:06 left in the fourth quarter. And then I just want to bring this point up here. Pittsburgh is down 14 in the fourth quarter. Does this sound familiar to you from last week against the Eagles? They were down 14 in that game in the fourth quarter with about 10-plus minutes left. And Mike Tomlin decided to punt. Here, down 14, he does the same thing with 9:26 left. 4th and 12 at midfield, down 14 with 9:26 left. Mike Tomlin punts. I'm sorry, but you cannot be considered for Coach of the Year when you do this. I do not get this, man. Baltimore would add a field goal, 34-17. Ravens win it going away, as Pittsburgh would then punt in the closing minutes because it didn't matter at that point. So Kansas City is at Pittsburgh to start at Christmas Day. I got Kansas City minus 3.5 on the road here at Pittsburgh.
You're pretty close. We've got Kansas City minus 2.5.
Oh, well, that's through the 3, though. That's interesting that it's less than a field goal. Less than a field goal at Pittsburgh. A little surprised by that. I just want to say, since we're talking a little awards here, we'll get to the other games here after the break, but Lamar Jackson 3 more touchdown passes. He does throw the pick to Fitzpatrick. He now has, if you look at the awards in the NFL, I think we'll get to it. Jaden Daniels probably at this point, and the only question is whether he's a unanimous Rookie of the Year or not, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell, I think is the correct favorite now. When it comes to Comeback Player of the Year, I think we have that slotted for Joe Burrow going away. They're not good enough. The Bengals aren't for him to be the MVP, so he's the Comeback Player of the Year. Saquon, who's flirting with Eric Dickerson's season rushing yards record, albeit 1 extra game than Dickerson had, he's probably your Offensive Player of the Year. But when it comes to MVP, I keep saying this, and full disclosure, I'm saying it through the fact that I have a Lamar Jackson ticket at plus 750. Thankfully, I have Daniels at 7-1 for Rookie of the Year too, but at plus 750, I have Lamar Jackson. This went from minus 900 on Josh Allen this past week to minus 550 on Josh Allen. Lamar is now at 4-1. He went from plus 550 to 4-1 after this weekend's games. Lamar Jackson, I just want to say this again. He has 37 touchdown passes and 4 picks. Nobody has ever thrown in the history of the NFL 40 or more touchdown passes with as few as 4 picks. So he's chasing that. He has the 4th highest passer rating, the old school passer rating of 158.3, the 4th highest currently, 2 games left to play, in the history of the NFL. He has nearly 800 rushing yards as well. He's the 25th leading rusher in the NFL, if you just want to put it in that terminology as well. And Josh Allen's performance this past weekend was pedestrian.
Very mid.
Pedestrian. Didn't do anything. How, and I'm the first one to concede, if you take the words most valuable player literally, Josh Allen is probably that, because if you remove him from the Bills, I don't know if they win 3 games. But those stats from Lamar Jackson, we're just going to look the other way? I don't think so. And based on our conversations with Aaron Schatz and Mike Sando, 2 voters, I think people ought to consider what could happen here. Coming back, more Guessing Lines, Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Here are 3 reasons ZYN is America's #1 nicotine pouch. We use food-grade ingredients. We have a wide selection of varieties, and they all come in 2 strengths. Find ZYN at a store near you.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Coming up on the next Follow the Money, Nick Bogdanovich from Circa on the upcoming college football matchups and Monday Night Football, and a recap of a great weekend. Follow the Money weekdays 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole 9, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Want to become a sharper bettor this holiday season? VSiN has the ultimate gift for you, or the sports bettor in your life, if not you. Right now, take advantage of our holiday special. Get VSiN Pro access to everything we offer through May 1st for just $79. Sign up now, get instant access to our daily best bets to help you cash more tickets, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access, plus all our betting guides and expert picks for the college football playoffs, Super Bowl, March Madness, everything you need to win big this season. Make this holiday season unforgettable with the gift of smarter betting. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now and unwrap your winning edge today. Gill, Alexander, Wyatt Tomchek in for Kelly Bidlin today on a Guessing Lines Week 17. So I kind of like Kansas City. If it's less than 3, I may bite on that. In what has been slim pickings the last few weeks in the NFL, that might be the only that might be one of the few edges I need to trigger a bet here.
And I think just the way Pittsburgh has played the last couple of weeks, it's just been kind of very, getting beat by double digits, really dominating that Eagles game. And I mean, is Russ starting to kind of take a step back?
I don't know if he's taking a step back. I mean, I think he's been as good as one could hope that he is, especially after, pardon me, what we saw in Denver. But I will say, Pittsburgh, obviously, right now, they have the tiebreaker over the Ravens right now. If it ended tied, they're teetering, though, because the Ravens knocking at the door, obviously. Both teams with a 10-5 record, the AFC North. The Ravens might have the edge, given Pittsburgh's schedule here the last couple weeks. Kansas City would love to get the number 1 seed out of the way 2 days from now. If they can win this game against Pittsburgh, you're 15-1. You do not have to play Week 18. You don't have to play any of your players if you don't want to.
Mahomes is
that's right,
healthy ankle. By the way,
and you're playing early in Week 16. So think about that. I mean, you would have a 2.5 week. Is that correct? Yes, a 2.5 week. Yeah. 2.5 weeks till you played another meaningful football game. A lot of people say, "Oh, but that's a rust versus rest thing." The Chiefs don't qualify for that kind of debate.
They can take 2 months off.
They can do whatever they want.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we got to give credit to the athletic training staff for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes looks so good out there
I'm just
running.
Saying, I said this last week. His most underrated skill, quote unquote, is his healing power. It does not matter what happens to him. He seems to be Teflon.
If that happened to us, we'd be out for like 3 months.
Oh, bro. I've become my father with stuff like that. I remember when I was a kid, something would happen on a football field. It would take me 30 minutes to get up off the ground for that. I've become him now. Joe Ryan is not happy with me. We get tweets at Beating the Book. He was tweeting me earlier. He said he was presenting Caleb Williams' stats. He goes, I present you these stats so you can hold on your continued hating on Williams. He says the guy may break the Bears' all-time yards passing for a season with his backup offensive coordinator head coaching. He is very special. He's not very happy with Merrill Hodges' assessment of him, and he's not very happy with me. And I said, I don't hate Williams. He says, no, I said hating on Williams. I feel like you guys dump on him while the dude has been stellar in a dumpster fire of a situation. Point well taken. I do think the interesting question here, Joe, is if you got to redraft this rookie class of quarterbacks, now having 15 games in hindsight, would you draft them the same way? Rich Eisen's show did this last week. And the conclusion they came to was that the Bears, given the same draft order, that the Bears would still draft Caleb 1. And as a Washington fan, I was like, go right ahead. I'll take Jaden at 2 again. Thank you very much. But that was their conclusion, was the Bears would still take Caleb at 1, and Washington then would just obviously take Jaden at 2. I think if you ranked them based on performance, and obviously given I get what you're saying, Joe, about Caleb's surrounding his supporting cast, if you will, the offensive line being the biggest of those, the not stellar offensive line. I still think based on performance, you'd go in a very 1, 2A, 2B, 2C kind of way. Jaden 1.
I would take Jaden 1.
I think you have to say Bo Nix had the second best season of anybody.
His growth from the first 5 weeks till now, it's been unbelievable.
Now, do you draft him second? If the task is you are still starting a team from scratch, do you still believe that translates to him being the better quarterback than Caleb over time? That's a different story. But I think based on performance, Bo would have to be 2. Drake May would probably have to be 3. Like as Aaron Schott said as a Patriots fan, we got the right guy. That's what he believes. And Caleb, it's the only thing about Caleb based on those other guys is he's just a little more of a wild card than the other 3 guys.
I think Caleb's biggest thing that's holding him back, obviously you got to have a good offensive line. If you're running around like crazy, but when he does get time, Caleb holds on to the ball way too long.
Way too long.
And I was watching the Seahawks game yesterday. Geno Smith was taking a lot of unnecessary hits. I think that's another thing with Caleb. Like, protect your body. If you don't have anybody open, throw it away. Don't take those big hits.
Yeah, the point also made here was, like, if the situation was reversed, Joe was saying that the outcomes would be reversed also, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Jaden Daniels doesn't hold on to the ball like Caleb does. He is calm under any situation. Caleb was throwing a tantrum when they kicked that ridiculous field goal later in the game yesterday. I just think they're different guys also, and I don't think that the results would be the same. There's no way we can prove that, but I think it's an interesting thought exercise. What is next, sir, on Christmas?
On Christmas Day, we have at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Ravens taking on the Texans.
All right, as we said, just a opponent swap is what this is from this past Saturday. So now Baltimore is at Houston. Lamar, 15 of 23 for 207, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked once in that game. Derrick Henry, 24 for 162. Zay, 5 for 100 in Baltimore's win over Pittsburgh, where, again, Mike Tomlin literally punting on the game for the second straight week. And then Houston now without Tank Dell, again with the displaced kneecap on that touchdown for Houston that brought the game to 17-16. I'll say Baltimore minus 3.5.
Pretty close. You've got Baltimore minus 4 on DraftKings.
That's probably better. Next, we go to Friday. This is where it gets interesting for Survivor, or Thursday.
No, Thursday.
Me.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a Friday game. It goes Thursday.
I was thinking Christmas was Thursday. Christmas Wednesday. Yes.
Yep. So on Thursday, kind of back to the normal NFL slate. The Seattle Seahawks in a desperate need of a win, traveling on the road to take on the Bears.
Seattle is in a dicey situation. Looking up at the Rams in the NFC West. They have got to get help here, but they've got to do their part as well. They got to beat the Bears who have lost 9 straight football games. Seattle loses to Minnesota yesterday. Minnesota struck first, 8 plays, 6. Well, listen, it was 7-7 game, I should say, at this point. Minnesota, 8 plays, 67 yards. Darnold and Jefferson from 14 out, 14-7. Minnesota with 5:50 left in the second. Seattle then first play ensuing drive, first and 10 on 30. Geno picked by Dallas Turner. Minnesota set up at the Seattle 31, had to settle for a Reichard 52-yard field goal, 17-7 Minnesota. Seattle would add a drive late in the half, 5 plays, 88 yards, to DK from 20 and 12 to start it, then to Jackson Smith and Jigba, 13, 25, and 18 into the end zone to end the drive, 17-14 Minnesota at the half. It would get to 17-17. Reichard would kick a field goal to put the Vikings up 20-17, and it would seemingly be that score for most of the second half. 20-17 Vikings. Seattle then takes the lead on an 11-play, 68-yard drive. Geno to Garner on 3rd and goal from the 4, 24-20 Seattle with 4:21 left in the fourth quarter. But as Minnesota has done all year, and as Sam Darnold has done all year, just calm as could be. 4 plays, 70 yards. There were some flags involved there. Darnold, beautiful throw to Jefferson from 39, through 2 defenders. Touchdown, 27-24 Minnesota with 3:51 left. And then Seattle will get it into, well, I won't really call it field goal range. They try a Myers 60-yard field goal attempt, well short. Minnesota would take over with 1:55 left. Seattle still with 2 timeouts. They forced a 3-and-out. Seattle took over again at their own 17 with 55 seconds left. No timeouts, needing a field goal to tie. First snap from scrimmage. Geno picked by Theo Jackson. Katie barred the door. DK kind of stopped a Metcalf on the route. He just sort of like let up. And so Geno's like, what are you doing? And Geno was made to look bad on the play. Geno threw for 314 yards in defeat, but it is Seattle and Seattle gets the loss there. Minnesota goes on. We'll get to Minnesota coming up. But Seattle's at Chicago here on Thursday. Chicago loses to Detroit in a game that was 20-0 before you could really blink. 20-0 Detroit. They got it to 20-0 on a beautiful Goff to Jameson Williams, 82-yard touchdown, 20-0. The Bears would cut it to 27-14 by the half. Caleb was really that pass the pass that cut it to 27-14 to Keenan Allen for 45 to the house was just beautiful from Caleb Williams. The play of the game that people are talking about, 27-14 in the third quarter. Detroit 5-play, 79-yard touchdown drive. Goff to Laporta for 21 on a play where Goff acted like he fumbled. So he stumbled after the snap. Jahmyr Gibbs fell to the turf as well in the backfield as if he was trying to recover the fumble, whatever. That was enough for Laporta to get loose 34-14, and Detroit would go on to win it by the final score of 34-17. So Detroit and Minnesota, we'll get to them. They both win. Philadelphia loses, so that has number 1 seed implications in the NFC. But as far as this game, Seattle at Chicago, which a lot of these survivors, remember, it's Circa. Depending on who you have left, you might have to make a choice here. Or maybe, may I suggest, you're making a clever game theory choice here to try to get on an island. I'll say Seattle -3. That was my guess last night.
Was 3, got bumped up here just a moment ago on DK. Seahawks -3.5.
And I think I saw a 4 here at Circa right behind us as on my way in, but I'm staying true to my guess here. Seattle -3.
Don't cheat.
Does that make me want to jump on the Bears? It does not. I'm not racing to bet them +4. But this is like, would I be shocked if the Bears won this game? National stage, standalone. They've lost 9 in a row. Seattle's in that must-win situation. Remember what Dr. Bob says. If you're in a must-win situation, you must not be that good. I don't know. Interesting game. So far, I like Kansas City so far in the Christmas +1 games. Coming back, more guessing lines. Week 17. It's a numbers game.
And they're off.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready to take your tailgate to the next level? You got to try Sewell's Barbecue. Born from a backyard cookout in a mason jar of unforgettable flavor, Sewell's has become a southern favorite, delighting taste buds from Georgia to the Carolinas. From smoky ribs and mouth-watering wings to the perfect backyard burger, Sewell's turns every bite into a flavor-packed experience. Order now at SewellsBarbecueSauce.com. I'll spell it SEWELLS BBQSauce.com. Flavor this good is just a click away. By the way, if you're thinking of how to spell Sewell's, just think of Penei Sewell of the Lions or former Broncos running back Steve Sewell. That's before your time.
That is before my time.
Yeah, SEWELL.
I know about Penei.
Penei.
Yes.
You're familiar with Penei. Yes. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. Best listeners in the game. Las Vegas 514. Yo. Our beloved Washington team won down 14 and had 5 turnovers. We're the 4th team in the last 20 years to win straight up. I love his use of we. Also, we should be coming back home to D.C. in the near future. 2 great early Christmas gifts. Thanks, Betting Santa. It was all over the place there. I'm not sure I understood every part of that. New York Mess 16. Glad I listened to A&G and jumped on Lamar at 11-1 to cover my probable losers on Saquon and Daniels. Both at 100-1, I guess he means for MVP. Saquon could have really put his stamp on the race yesterday, and with 100 rushing yards in the first quarter, he did nothing after that. Thanks, Gill. Saquon yesterday, 109 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. And then once Jalen Hurts went out, Kenny Pickett came in. That was kind of the end of that.
Oh, my fantasy team, I was licking my chops. I thought I was going to make it to the championship game because I was going up against Jalen Hurts. Fortunately, I had Brian Robinson. Fumbled
twice early. Mariners Geek. 1 Chiefs win, 1 Bills loss is a magic number of 2. Correct. It is, except that's not what I said. It's 1 Chiefs win or 1 Bills loss. So it is a magic number of 1. Remember, the Chiefs are 2 games ahead of the Bills in the loss column with 2 games left. So it is a magic number of 1, sir. Matt Trudell. Watching Numbers Game, and Gill, didn't one of the Circa Survivors with 2 entries put both on the Cardinals? Yes, you are correct. I was incorrect. Actually, it is 45 entries left, 44 humans. So 1 person still does have more than 1 entry. But yes, 1 person, I believe it was Wise Guys, NFL Wise Guys, put 2 on the Cardinals, and there goes that. All right, we get to Sunday now for Week 17.
Actually, no, we're on Saturday.
Saturday?
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
We're all over the place.
It's so great.
We've got football throughout the entirety of the week.
Fantastic. And yet we have to wait for the college quarterfinals still beyond that. Not until middle of next week.
Yes, hopefully the game's a little bit better.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Mm-hmm. First game on Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Chargers on the road taking on the Patriots.
Chargers beat the Broncos on Thursday. We don't need to go over that again. Chargers are 9-6. Broncos are 9-6. They both inhabit the last 2 AFC playoff positions currently. The Broncos are the one that has sort of the tougher schedule. And the Broncos are not feeling very comfortable with a few teams, 3 teams, Miami, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati, 2 games behind them. They don't want to lose their last 2. Obviously, both the Broncos and Chargers' magic number, once again, in this case, is 1, respectively. Chargers at the Patriots here. So the Chargers at the Patriots, who played the Bills very well yesterday. They led this game 14-0. On a 6-play, 58-yard drive, made to Boutte from 28 out, Kayshon Boutte. And then their next drive after a Buffalo punt, 16 plays, 91 yards, Ramondre in from 14-0 Patriots. Then the Bills started doing it. Cook in from 46, 14-7. That will be the score at the half. Third quarter, Buffalo, 9 plays at 68 yards. Allen to Cook from 4 out. We're tied at 14. New England then, second play, ensuing drive, Ramondre for 2 yards, hit by Greg Rousseau, fumbles, Dorian Williams recovers. That led to a Bass 50-yard field goal. Buffalo took their first lead at 17-14 with 6:02 left in the third quarter. Then New England matriculated, 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 16. May picked in the end zone by Cam Lewis. Man, that all sort of thoughts of an upset there kind of went, I don't know if they completely went out the window with that, but you sort of felt like it wasn't going to happen at that point. But Buffalo then had to punt as Allen was shaking out his throwing hand in this. Let's talk about another guy that is Teflon, always seems to recover from whatever injury he has. New England 2nd and 8 at their own 12. May laterals, can't make the connection. Taron Johnson recovers it in the end zone. 24-14, Buffalo with 10-10 left in the fourth quarter. That was the point where the any thoughts of an upset sort of were extinguished, where it was like this sort of lazy pass backwards that ends up being a lateral and a fumble. New England, after punting at their punting 4th and 6 at their own 45 with 8:33 left, down 10. Are you tanking? What are you doing? I think we know the answer. Buffalo. No, I'm not suggesting that. Buffalo punts.
They want Travis.
And then New England gets it back. And now New England with a 10-point deficit with fewer time, with less time, well, they can matriculate the ball down the field. 13 plays, 75 yards. They had 10 snaps inside the 10-yard line before they punched this in. They had 2 different 1st and goal at the 1 setups. And they finally scored a 9-yard touchdown pass to Hunter Henry from 9 out again, 24-21 Buffalo. They had to declare the onside kick. That failed. But New England did have 3 timeouts left. Didn't matter. Buffalo ran out the clock. Buffalo wins it 24-21. And once again, Josh Allen, pedestrian numbers in this ballgame. I will say in the Chargers at New England contest, Chargers minus 4.5.
Close. We've got Chargers right now up at DK at minus 5.
Let's do another.
Next one here, still on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Broncos taking on the Bengals.
Okay, so this gets back to what I was just saying moments ago. This is a big football game. Because Denver's 9-6, so are the Chargers. Chargers' schedule is a lot easier, though, than Denver's down the stretch. Denver's got, I believe they got Kansas City week 18. So,
which they're rooting for Kansas City to clinch.
That's right. So there's tons of implications here. They're rooting, that's exactly right. Denver's rooting for Kansas City to clinch the number 1 seed so that Kansas City would not be incentivized to play them week 18 in the event that Denver loses to Cincinnati here. Cincinnati, the proverbial team no one wants to play. Everybody's saying that. Cincinnati, because of Burrow and the offense, is the team nobody wants to play. Really, they're not that scary beyond that. They're really not. Their defense is horrible. Denver at Cincinnati. I'll still make Cincinnati a favorite here. Denver, again, Thursday night. Let's just remember when they lost to the Chargers that Sean Payton had a lot to do with this, because after running on 2nd and 20, remember 4th and 6 at their own 49 with 4:35 left, down 3, they punted. So that was just a horrible sequence for Payton late in that game. Cincinnati beats Cleveland yesterday in a game that, they weren't really blowing Cleveland off the field. It was 7-0 halfway through the first quarter on a play where Joe Burrow was falling to the turf.
This was unbelievable.
This is unbelievable. With the naked eye, it looks like there's no way. He's completely down. And the more you watch the replay, I'm like, come on, it's obvious he's down before he got rid of the ball. He's falling forward. Optical illusion. And you know how they determined it? They took it frame by frame, is what they did. And that's a touchdown. Touchdown, falling down to Higgins from 2 out. Amazing play from Burrow. Again, if they were any good, maybe he's in the MVP conversation. As is, he'll probably be comeback player of the year. 7-0 Cincinnati, and it was that score till... it was 17. By the end of the first half, it did get to 14-0, and then 17-0. Cleveland, first drive of the third quarter, they went 70 yards, forward in from 4. Hopkins misses the extra point, though, 17-6, because Cleveland is not allowed to have good things for any period of time, so they missed the extra point, 17-6. Next time they had the ball, they really need to know Cleveland's possessions the rest of the way to tell the story of this game. 3rd and 7 at the Cincinnati 8. DTR under pressure just throws it into the end zone, right to a wide-open Jordan Battle. Problem is Jordan Battle plays for Cincinnati. And next time Cleveland had the ball, 3rd and 6 at their own 41, DTR picked off a deflection by Geno Stone. And then the thing about this was, at this point, it was 17-6. 17-6, do I have that score right? Cincinnati had 3rd and goal to Cleveland 1. Burrow got sacked and he fumbled. It was recovered by Juwan Briggs. So Cleveland had they couldn't win this game, but they had the back door open in terms of the spread, because it's only 17-6 at this point. But once again, 4th and 8 for their own 41. DTR makes this great play, whirling dervish. I don't know how he completed a pass to Njoku for the first down, but eventually they stalled on downs. And then Cincinnati on a 2nd and 6 at the Cleveland 32. Cleveland jumps offside. Cincinnati is a free play, and Burrow just heaves it to Chase. Why not? 24-6 touchdown, and that was that. Burrow, 250 yards, 3 touchdown performance for the 7th straight game. No one has ever done that ever before in life.
So good.
I'll say Cincinnati by 2.5 at home over Denver.
Close here. We've got Cincinnati minus 3.
They gave him the full 3.
Yep,
Okay.
Full 3 here on DraftKings.
This is a big. There are so many ways this could. The NFC is not quite as interesting, although there's obviously some things that could happen there. But the AFC, between the number 1 seed and the fact that Denver has this at Cincinnati, home Kansas City, way to finish the season in terms of their schedule. Yes, they are absolutely rooting for Kansas City to beat Pittsburgh on Christmas. Denver and the Chargers, again, both of their magic numbers are 1, though.
It was such a gut punch loss for the Broncos. Halfway through that game on Thursday, I was like, man, this is a whole different team. They might be a legitimate threat in the playoffs, and it just, what a collapse. Give credit, Jim Harbaugh, Michigan guy. Gotta get that in there.
Where did you go to school again?
UNLV. My dad went to Michigan, so
I was just curious. Okay.
By rule.
So far, I think I like Kansas City the best in terms of the numbers. We'll get to more of these games. Get to Sunday, finally. We're guessing lines. Week 17 in the National Football League. Coming back on a numbers game right here at VSiN.
Got a good thing coming. Just wait and see. It's a good.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network.
The Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hey, Wyatt Tomchek in for Kelly Bidlin. Did you know you could take VSiN with you wherever you go? Did you know that?
No way.
Yeah, that's true. The VSiN Watch app, that's how you do it. It's never been easier to stay connected to the action, whether you're on the phone or on your phone, tablet, or even your smart TV. Here's the best part. Absolutely free for a limited time. With the VSiN Watch app, you got 24/7 live access to our audio and video streams, replays of your favorite VSiN shows. That's, by the way, the best thing about this. You can easily access replays of stuff you've missed. The ability to stream directly to your smart TV for the big screen experience, quick access to clips, and a search feature that lets you find exactly the insights you're looking for from the VSiN experts. Don't miss out. Get the VSiN Watch app. Stay in the game wherever you are. It's Gill Alexander, Wyatt Tomchek in for Kelly Bidlin. That's your full name, Wyatt Tomchek in for Kelly Bidlin.
I like it. We'll put it on the birth certificate. By the way, talking about the VSiN app, isn't that where you found Will Hill talking about the Aaron Judge MVP?
That is correct. Yes. That is exactly right. That is a good example. Will Hill gave out Aaron Judge to win American League MVP at 16-1. We were able to pinpoint the date. I think he was like May 15th. So went to the VSiN Watch app, easily found May 15th, numbers game. All I had to do was determine if it was hour number 1 or number 2. Bam, grab the clip. There's Will Hill giving out his pick.
Also, I didn't know if Kelly had a certain line. You know how he was $9.99 or splitting bets? He looked at me, I was like, oh no, does Kelly have a certain line?
Oh,
I was not given that.
No.
That line.
Speaking of Kelly, Jesse Welch tweeted, attention to anyone in the Florida area. Kelly Bidley is flying down there, so there will be a hurricane kicking up real soon. Because Kelly has this history of flying into inclement, not only inclement weather, but really bad weather events. And Kelly tweets back, he goes, man, I'm just sitting by the pool right now, perfect weather, listening to some guessing lines. Don't mess it up, Tomchek, he says in capitals.
And he spelled my last name right, so Kelly, I appreciate you.
He did. T for 3, by the way, also chimes in. He goes, OPP. The last, that's not that simple. Did you catch that I was doing an OPP? I knew you wouldn't.
I know this
song. When I was explaining the Joe Burrow, how they figured out that Joe Burrow's touchdown was legal, I said, how do you explain it? They took it frame by frame it. No, okay, never mind. All right, next game, Kelly. Kelly. Wyatt. Sorry. Tomchek in for Bidlin.
I was born in 94, so my apologies on that one. We ended on the Broncos Bengals. So next game, final game on Saturday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Cardinals at the Rams.
We're still on Saturday. Wow. The 7-8 Cardinals who have been eliminated. And they eliminated 4 survivors in the process. They lose to the Panthers, taking on the Rams, who sit atop the NFC West right now with a 9-6 record. Arizona loses to Carolina. It was 13-3 Carolina early. Arizona second and 10 at their own 31. Kyler fumbled the exchange with Michael Carter. Jonathan Harris recovered. Carolina set up at the Arizona 34 plays. Bryce to Thielen from 8 out. 20-3 Panthers halfway through the second quarter. They were just rolling. But Arizona had some life. They woke up. 4 plays, 70 yards. Kyler to Connor for 36. Sets up Connor in from 6, 20-10. And then after a 3-and-out, Arizona 68 yards. Kyler to DJ Dallas from 1 out. 20-17 Panthers at the half. Surely the Cardinals will win this. But Bryce Young had other ideas. Carolina, a few drives into the second half. 6 plays, 58 yards. Bryce to David Moore from 18 out, 30-20. With 12:04 left in the fourth quarter, Arizona then 70 yards. Kyler in from 20, 30-27 with 6:56 left in this one. After a Carolina 3-and-out, Arizona 3rd and 11 at Arizona 3rd and 11 at the Carolina 49. Kyler, perhaps thinking he's over the line of scrimmage, sort of heaves it. Part of his body wasn't, though. Picked by Damani Richardson, and with 3:10 left in the fourth quarter, it looked like Arizona might be cooked, but they did have all 3 timeouts left. They were able to force a punt when Bryce just missed a wide-open Dan Chizena on 3rd and 3 from their own 49. So Arizona took over on their own 35 with 1:47 left, 1 timeout. They needed a field goal to tie. And with 2 seconds left, Chad Ryland from 58, good. Oh, man. To tie the game, they go to overtime. Carolina wins the toss. It's over, right? Nope, 3-and-out. Arizona backed up at their own 10, 4th and 1 at their own 19. They correctly, by the way, I like that they went for it. They got it. Didn't matter, though, because they still had to punt. And then Carolina took over with from their own 49 with 4:11 left in OT. 2 plays. Chuba Hubbard for 28. Field goal range already. No matter. Chuba from 21. Touchdown. 36-30. As I said, 4 Arizona survivors gone. Arizona eliminated from playoff contention. And then there's the Rams-Jets game. Did you see any of this? This was threatening to be the quickest football game you've ever seen in your life. And by the way, maybe thank God for that because it wasn't very good.
Well, I had Puka Nacua in fantasy, so I was I was hoping that Matthew Stafford threw for more than 110 yards.
Yeah.
At least he threw half of them to Puka, but it was still very frustrating.
110 yards passing for Matthew Stafford, and the Rams still win it. This was a game where the Jets' first drive, a 14-play, 99-yard drive, Rodgers to Devontae from 11 out, 6-0 Jets. Anders Carlson missed the extra point. After that was a Rams punt followed by a Jets 14-play, 99-yard drive. That was the entire first quarter. There were 23 seconds left in the first quarter, 6-0. Then the Rams, 2nd and 15 at their own 49, Stafford picked by Tony Adams, which brought the Jets to a 4th and 1 at their own 33, the ensuing drive. Brees stuffed by Omar Spates. That leads to a short field. Rams set up at the 33, 3 plays. Kyron in from 2. Joshua Carty misses the extra point, 6-6. There's 6:22 left in the second quarter. The Jets with another 4th down, 4th and 3 at the Rams 34. Rodgers to Lazard for 11, but they still have to settle for a Carlson 21-yard field goal. 9-6, Jets at the half. There was a grand total of 6 drives in the first half of this football game. Third quarter, same story. Jets start at their own 29. They end up with a turnover on downs on 4th and 4 at the Rams 13. There was 5:15 left in the third quarter. This game's third quarter ended before the Washington third quarter began, I believe, and they started at the same time. Carty, 38-yard field goal, would tie it up at 9 apiece when the Jets, after the Jets failed on that 4th down conversion. The ensuing drive made it 9-9. 12:44 left in the fourth quarter at this point. Then they started playing some more brisk football. Jets 3rd and 7 at their own 31. Rodgers sacked by Curl, fumbles. Jared Verse recovers. Rams set up at the Jets 21. 3 plays. Stafford to Higbee. What year is this? From 11 out, 16-9 Rams. Then the Jets 4th and 4 at their own 37. They decide to go for it, down 7. Rodgers incomplete, intended for Tyler Conklin. Rams get a field goal out of that, 19-9. Then Carlson misses a 49-yard field goal. They're down 2 scores. The Jets were the 49-yard field goal try. One of those place kicks where the moment the ball went off his toe, he was like, there's no chance it makes it. Like, it was so wide right from the beginning.
You just hear the crowd. Sometimes the crowd will just tell you right away. You're just like, oh.
Not even close. Rams take over with 1:57 left in the fourth quarter, 3 and out, but Xavier Gibson muffs the punt. Jordan Whittington recovers. That's your ball game.
That's such a Jets way to end a game.
Such a Jets way to end it.
Poor Jeff Parles, man. His Twitter on whenever the Jets play is just comical.
That's brutal. Aaron Rodgers, such a nice guy, though. Kidding. By the way, you see how I was killing Aaron Rodgers last year with the whole Achilles nonsense? Like, he'd come back and how everybody's murdering Aaron Rodgers finally. It's like, oh, you finally figured out he's a great guy. Rams by 4.5 hosting Arizona.
Right now we have Rams -6 on DK.
Yeah, I guess. I have to get in the mode where it's like people have nothing to play for anymore, so the lines are going to reflect that, I guess.
Yeah, what a tough loss there for the Cardinals. Did you see, though, at the end of the game, like, how the clock started to wind down? Like, the Cardinals only got the...
Yes.
If you saw the official did this to signal that the clock was stopped, and then he wound it. Like, he screwed up...
Well, for some reason, the game clock went to 0, but they clearly had called timeout. I don't think that was... Yeah.
Well, I think the Cardinals, why they went so slow was the official initially said, hey, Kyler got out of bounds. Clock is stopped.
Let's see if we can't squeeze a couple in here. What do we got next?
Alrighty. After the Cardinals-Rams, we've got, this is Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Jets at the Bills.
Wow, I love that. Tons of games before Sunday even. Jets, 4-11, long gone. At Buffalo, 12-3. Buffalo has won the AFC East, but again, still with a shot at the number 1 seed. The Chiefs would have to lose twice. The Bills would have to win twice. Good luck with that. Allen in victory yesterday, 16 of 29 for 154, 6 carries for 30 yards. Cook, 11 for 100 on the ground and a touchdown. Bills were +2 in turnovers against the Patriots, but 13 penalties for 78 yards for the Bills. I'll say the Bills -10.5 hosting the Jets.
A little bit heavy on that. We've got the Bills -9.5.
Okay. Next.
And after that one, we've got the game of the week. No bias here. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Packers at the Vikings.
Packers play tonight against the Saints. They're 2 touchdown favorites. The Packers are 10-4, but remember, because they're 0-3 combined against the Lions and the Vikings at this point, they're probably a wild card team. That's kind of where they're going to be locked in. So they're at Minnesota. Minnesota now 13-2. With the Eagles' loss, Minnesota and Detroit could be headed to a Week 18 collision course for not only the NFC North, but also the number 1 seed, winner take all. I will say Minnesota. By the way, Jefferson yesterday, 10 for 144 and 2 touchdowns. He's pretty good at football. I'll say Minnesota minus 2.5.
How dare you? We've got Vikings minus 1.5 on DK.
All right. The point being probably a tick less than the 3. Okay. Again, of all, the point of this extracting, trying to get some bets out of this, I still think Kansas City might be my only one. And even that is sort of like, it's not like my favorite bet in the world. It's just sort of like, oh, there's a slight edge. I'll take that.
You want to bet the Packers for me?
When? In this game?
No, yeah, this game. Not tonight.
I don't know. I think it's right around where it should be.
All right.
All right. More Sunday games. Week 17, National Football League. It's getting fun. Coming up.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming app.